Hey guys, Phoenix Spring Tower here. So for this video into the Will Smith apology, the way I'm going to set it up is in two ways. This is going to be, firstly, this is a current energy reading in terms of the current situation and the current energies that are around these two people. But secondly, it's something that I feel is really important to... This is what they call a teachable moment. I hate using that phrase. It's been so overused and abused. But I feel that this video is one of those, particularly about misguided spiritual healing and spiritual narcissism. So I had in mind to do a series about spiritual narcissism. And believe it or not, Jada Smith was actually on my list of people to go through when doing a spiritual narcissism or misguided spiritual healing video. She was on the list. However, when this apology video came up, I thought, you know what? This is the perfect moment to at least do an introduction to spiritual narcissism or to misguided spiritual healing. And then we will go into doing the tarot cards between Will and Chris Rock and just try to get an idea of what the current energies are going on, why bring out this video now, and just see what other spiritual lessons the guides would like us to know about this situation. So those of you who are new to my channel or don't know my channel, welcome. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and know that whenever we're doing these videos, I never do videos about celebrities from a judgmental perspective. This is a non-judgmental space. This is an unbiased space. We're not taking any sides. What we want to do here is see what lessons we could learn from people's experiences that could best enhance our lives. Okay, really remember that. I keep on saying this time and time again, and many times that point is missed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the tutorial part of this first, the introduction tutorial about spiritual narcissism and misguided spiritual healing. And then I'm going to go into the reading about the general energies around Will Smith, Chris Rock, this general situation. Timestamps are down below. So if you want to watch the spiritual the video, the tutorial about spiritual healing, please do. If you want to jump just to the reading, you can as well. The timestamps are below. Okay. So when I started watching this video, well, first of all, I just went on Instagram and I just saw Will Smith had a video. It's been a minute. I was just like, oh, okay. You know, like everyone else. So I started watching this. And at a certain point, I stopped watching the video. And here is the point I stopped watching it. It was at the point where, and no judgment here, absolutely none, but this is my real real reaction to it. It was at the point where Will Smith says, well, look, I have extended an apology to Chris Rock, but his people have come back to me, I'm paraphrasing, his people have come back to me to say that he is not ready to receive or to speak at this time. Chris, when you're ready, I am here to sit down and talk to you. That was the point where I was just like, oh my goodness, no. And I continued scrolling. The reason why I did that, the reason why that was my first reaction is what I felt was happening in that moment was someone trying to get ahead of the narrative and say, right, well, I'm being the bigger person to reach out to you. And if you don't want to do it, well, fine. Well, that's on you. You know, trying to push the blame back on someone else. And I thought, well, if you're really genuinely sorry, it's not your place, it's not Will Smith's place to speak on what Chris Rock's response is, right? That was what first came to my head, and I thought, no, I'm not interested in this, and I continued scrolling. But then something told me, no, go back to the video. Let's continue watching it to the very end so that we don't make judgments and we get the full context and the full picture of what he's trying to say. When I began watching the full context, certain things began to come through to me, and I've written them down here. What I began to see was a lot of symbolism in the frame that he had set up for this apology video. Firstly, there was an unusual deep green light behind him that I began to pick up on. Then there was a poster to the left side of him that talked about love. Then there was a matter of him wearing white and covering his head with white, and his heart chakra was stamped W, you know, sort of branding himself. Then there was the blue that was on the side table next to him. Then I couldn't help but notice that behind his head was like a circular light, almost framing his head like a halo. Now, it could have been that I'm looking too much into it, being a spiritual person, looking too much into it, but I sort of feel from him not having an interviewer and just the questions and that sort of thing, it just seemed like a very staged moment. And this is, and let me just break down how it's staged really quickly, and then we'll go into the spiritual narcissism and misguided spiritual healing. So when you have a color green, you know, like this color green talks about, and green stands for the heart chakra. Green stands for love. Green stands for expansion of love and embracing other people. That's what green stands for. The fact that he had white on as well and covering his head. Also, that covering of your head in white symbolizes purity. It symbolizes innocence with regards to something, or regards to a situation, but regards to yourself. You know, women getting married in white, purity, I'm a virgin, that's what it symbolizes. The blue and the cotton blue next to him, people have since subsequently, when I noticed it, have subsequently come out and said, oh, he's doing branded product promotion and that sort of thing. But I didn't read into it, I don't really care about that. I'm looking at it through a spiritual lens. And what I saw was blue, and blue meaning the voice, blue meaning the throat, the chakra, the blue meaning speaking out and speaking your truth and speaking your perspective to something. But having said all of that, what was really interesting was the shelving that was behind him, and that shelving which sort of boxed in that green expansive love energy. In fact, the whole video had a green tinge to it. He was even wearing olive green khakis. But that frame sort of symbolized to me that expansion energy of love was finite. It's a boxed in, because that's what a frame does. A frame boxes things in, doesn't it? And then I'm just like, well, are you reading too much into it? Are you this? Are you that? And I was just like, well, no. And most videos, you know, when celebrities do sit down interviews, they tend to do it against a neutral background, a background of neutral tones. Whereas I think what really caught me, especially from a spiritual lens with this video, was that he was really going out and trying and really making really bold statements with the color scheme, really bold spiritual statements with the color scheme and with the way items were arranged, even to the fact that there was a halo around his head. There was just too much symbolism and coincidences for it to be ignored. Now, putting all that together, as I've said, do you understand and could you see now the reason why I would switch off when someone says, all right, I reached out and I offered apology, but he doesn't want to have it, so when he's ready. You know, it's first of all, there's a lack of grace in that when you, especially an apology to someone, if it's genuine, should be, well, you embarrass someone publicly, so you apologize publicly, fair enough. But then the step where it went too far is that it's not up to you to then say whether someone has accepted your apology or not and comment on that. That's where it goes a bit too far, and that's where for many people it just doesn't ring true. So from the time you kick off an interview with that sort of tone and that stance, for me it's kind of downhill from there really. Another thing that I wanted to talk about, especially and that's what many times spiritual narcissists, that's what many times what spiritual narcissists do. Now, I am not saying that Will Smith is a spiritual narcissist, absolutely not, but I'm talking about the actions in that moment. That's what it looks like, where you position yourself to be the bigger person and you do all the demonstrative actions of being the bigger person, but there is a disconnect in the genuine feeling about it. So, you know, there's the green palette energy, there's the poster about love, there's all these things, but then if you choose to disclose how someone has received your energy, your apology in a manner in which you have, you're really throwing someone under the bus, really. You know? Another thing that, another element that I have here that I wanted to talk about was the element of shame. So he talked about really poignantly in his apology not wanting to feel shame, or saying that he shouldn't be ashamed, that it was a bad moment. This is another element here where someone is offering an apology, but it's saying that they want to do it on their terms, right? I am not feeling shame. I'm apologizing to you, but along with an apology comes humility. There are a number of sources, I should say. Let's start again. There are a number of sources from which an apology should come from. There are lots of motivators for an apology. So first of all is knowing that you've done something wrong. Let's dig below knowing that we've done something wrong. Many times knowing that we've done something wrong comes with an understanding that we're at fault, comes from an understanding that we accept responsibility, comes from an understanding that we shouldn't be proud of our actions. What's underlying that? Shame. Also, so when someone says that they should not be feeling shame for what they've done, I begin to question, well, how much healing have you really done? Do you need another 3 months to really understand, to really feel and connect with your shame? Now, with Will Smith's history, connecting with shame, and this is something with people who misguide spiritual healing and a spiritual narcissism. It's doing spiritual healing in a way that is comfortable for them, in a way that's convenient for them. And that's not the way spiritual healing is done. With spiritual healing, it requires you to really go to the depths, to the abyss, to that lower vibration element of yourself, which makes you really uncomfortable. Your dark side, your shadow self. It really takes being comfortable with that for you to then, because when you are able to face your shadow self and look at your shadow self in the eye, look at that shame, look at that apathy, look at that anger, look at that fear, and really challenge it and heal it, that is when you really set a firm foundation for you to build your vibration energy upon, so that when you're aspiring to the higher vibrational levels of the love, of the empathy, of enlightenment, you're really doing it on a firm foundation. So if you're saying, and what spiritual narcissists or people who do misguided spiritual healing tend to do is avoid these dark spaces. They don't want to delve into it. It's too inconvenient. It's an inconvenient truth, really. They want to patch it all up, and if anything, they want to, instead of doing that inner deep work, what happens is that things get deflected. It's like, I take responsibility, you need to take responsibility so I can heal. You know, a lot of that comes through, oh, this is my central trauma, because I've put what my trauma is out there and I've let you know. Then you feel sorry for me. Then you feel something for me. And by me getting your energy of your pity, of your sorrow, it deflects from the work that I really need to do, which is getting into that low vibration shadow self work. Okay? It's something that I felt that is really important to pull through for you guys to really be aware of. And we're talking about this from a spiritual perspective. I'm not making judgments on anyone, because everyone from myself to you, I'm sure, they're all elements of our shadow selves that we may not want to see, we may not want to look at, we may not want to acknowledge. But if we really want to go on the path of spiritual elevation, enlightenment, or just becoming a better person, Many times that shadow self is something that we need to look at, we need to become familiar with. And many times with spiritual narcissists or people who do misguided spiritual healing, they avoid doing that deep work. They avoid that painful shadow work. And instead, what tends to happen is a lot of deflecting, either deflecting to other people. So in this case, Chris Rock isn't ready to accept my apology, or deflecting and saying, oh, well, this is a trauma for me. That's why this happened. So in a way, making excuses for their behavior. There's a very fine line between explaining the reason why something happened, taking accountability and responsibility, and then doing that work to really heal it and understand it and ensure that it doesn't happen again, right? There's a very thin line between them, and I feel that as a society, especially as we're elevating, people don't always know what that difference is. So many times people mistake accountability, what people view as accountability is really deflection. And in this case, that is what Will Smith did very, very well. Many times, another thing is that many times we're not aware that we're doing it as well. Okay, so let me just say that many times, because it's our blind spot, it's our shadow self. So many times we may not be aware either that we are doing it. Another thing I want to say about shame and Will Smith not wanting to accept shame and so on, is that shame, when it comes to the David R. Hawkins emotional scale or the level of consciousness scale, shame is at the very bottom. Shame has an energy vibration, I believe, of 20, and I believe love has an energy vibration of 500 to 1,000. Now, that area of shame is a disruptive energy. So I would say this, when it comes to Will Smith experiencing, I feel that shame that Will Smith is saying that he doesn't want to look into, or he's saying he doesn't deserve to feel, is not shame that was recently brought on by this Chris Rock episode. That is shame that he's been living with and has been building for quite a number of years now. Because with shame is a disruptive energy, and we definitely saw the disruption in him committing a full-on assault against Chris Rock, right? So that is why, so for him saying that he's not willing to heal that shame means that he's not really willing to deal with the root of where that came from, and he is still in that disruptive energy space. So what we have so far with the Magician, there we go, this is the Magician. So that's Will Smith doing his apology. That's the Magician. That is him. Remember when I said at the very beginning where he had his heart chakra covered with that W? I am being drawn to his heart chakra here. Will Smith is a performer, he's a charmer, he knows with this Magician energy how to cast a spell and use his charisma and use his influence, and that is precisely what he was doing in that video, right? He was doing that. There was something of a four, with this Four of Wands energy here. Four of Wands talks about stability. So this Four of Wands is talking about him wanting to, I'm being told the phrase, move ahead with things, and he's, from his perspective, he's been in a bit of limbo, right? So they need to test the waters to see how the public is going to respond to him, how the public is going to view him. And what this is also saying as well is that he's been doing a lot of work in the background to create stability in his lives. There's been a lot of discussion, there's been a lot of I'm just being told a lot of work and maneuvering behind the scenes where he is concerned. And that maneuvering behind the scenes has sort of set him up to conduct this apology. And that's the best way I could find to phrase it. However, with this Five of Swords and Two of Swords, it's interesting what they didn't bank on. Hang on, let me just get some more with this 5 and 2 of Swords. Could you clarify the 5 and the 2 of Swords a bit more? There we go, 5 of Cups. I feel that with this apology, it hasn't gone the way that he would have liked it to have gone, is what I'm picking up on here. It didn't go the way that they felt it should have gone. Guys, I'm going to do this. I don't usually do this. I'm going to change the type of spread that I'm going to do here. I'm going to change the spread. And I'm going to use another set of cards. And okay, so Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, what do we need to know about this, the current energy around this Will Smith and Chris Rock situation? What do we need to know about the current energies around the Chris Rock, Will Smith situation? I saw a Devil card just pop through there. What type of spread would you like me to do? What do we need to know? Okay, I'm going to do a first line. And then we'll get into a 2-pile spread. Okay, so let me just get one more card here, guys. Okay. Guys, you know what this is saying? So first of all, in terms of the impact Will Smith wanted to have with his video, it appears that he's going to get his wish with that. It may be early days now and he's facing a bit of criticism, but the reason why he's come out with this video, but initially he may think that he has gotten his wish in terms of testing the waters, putting things behind him. However, there is a recognition that this video with the Knight of Swords, like, it wasn't well thought through and it could have been thought through better. In terms of the moving on and the type of moving on that he'd like to make, he is with the 7 of Wands, facing backlash from people. It's a level of backlash that he did not expect, believe it or not. He was very happy with the video he put out. He thought it was an excellent video. He thought that it was well orchestrated. He felt with the 6 of Pentacles that he was giving the people what he was saying what he hang on, let me get this right. He was saying what he felt ought to be said. It was, and he felt that it was good. He was overall quite happy with it. The aim of the video is to cut ties with the past and have a new beginning. It was meant to be his rebirth, so to speak. However, what is coming through here with the 7 of Wands and the Knight of Swords is that it really wasn't that well thought through. And there is still damage control with the 7 of Wands that he's still working on doing behind the scenes. I'm also being told as well that his PR team with this 7 of Wands and this Knight of Swords, something about his PR team is working behind the scenes with a number of media outlets. It's, you know, in order to get them out on side, in order to influence the type of commentary they are putting out about his apology video. So whoever is working in his PR camp, they're really working overtime, you know, in terms of the statements people put out there. Is another thing that I'm getting. the idea is that he feels that he's paid his dues, he's done with it, and he's ready to move on. That's the energy that I'm getting here from Will Smith. Okay, so let's look at Chris Rock and Will Smith. Let's look at both their energies side by side. There is a feeling as I'm shuffling, I'm being shown an energy of Chris Rock. It's as if he knows that he is no match for the Will Smith machine. That is something I'm being told. The amount of power and influence that Will Smith wields, it's as if he is no match for that. And I'm sorry guys, I can only say what I'm hearing. And this could be potentially a very controversial statement. I'm also hearing that people behind the scenes are telling Chris Rock to fall in line. Okay, I'm just saying to fall in line. That as two black men at the top of their respective careers, that this divide doesn't look good for the culture, and it's up to Chris Rock to fall in line. Sorry guys, that's just what I'm being told. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm saying. Chris Rock, is being told to fall in line. Like you saw this jump out. Like he's told to step down, step back, and take one for the team. And I feel that this message is even coming from people that he would have least expected it to come from. Okay, let's see what else is coming through. Interestingly, this is Will Smith's energy. So that's Chris Rock over on this side. This is Will. There is some, that's interesting. Look at this Four of Pentacles. That's an interesting energy for him to have. Okay, let's go back to Chris Rock and see more about this Ten of Swords. I saw that devil flash in this pack of cards again. Ten of Swords and Chris Rock. Could we clarify that a bit more? Hang on. There we go. These cards flipped over while I was shuffling, so I'll take all of them. This is the stabbing in the back. There is a lot of, when it comes to, I have a feeling that Chris Rock feels that the world and a lot of people, with the Moon card, they're not really, there's a feeling that people are not on his side. There is also, I'm picking up a lot of, Chris Rock is traumatized by this. I'm picking up that he is traumatized by this. He's felt betrayed by this. Especially betrayed in front of the world as well. I'm being told I wouldn't be... This is where he is being... He's at a crossroads in terms of his career right now. Chris Rock is. He needs to make up his mind as to whether he plays ball with the whole Hollywood institution or whether he falls back. If he falls back, he runs the risk of becoming like a two-rate, two-bit actor. If he chooses to play ball and to go ahead with things, which is shown by this King of Cups here, and you know, where you be very cool, calm and collected, whereas inside for you it's just complete turmoil, it would actually work out and be beneficial for him. At the moment, people do not know which road Chris Rock is going to take. They don't know. And as well by that, I'm being told that with Will Smith, Remember I said at the very beginning, I even have it in my notes here, that I watched the first part of the apology and then I'd switched off when Will Smith said to Chris Rock, look, I've reached out to you, your people have said you're not ready, when you're ready you know who I am. Apparently with this, what this moon card is saying is that Will Smith was throwing out there was a hidden message in what Will Smith said at the beginning of that video. There was a hidden message. And the hidden message was targeted to Chris. And Chris knows what that hidden message is. That's what I'm being told with this moon card here. So there was a hidden message that was given to Chris Rock in front of the whole world. And that is why Chris Rock feels that he's really been stabbed in the back and being slighted, because there's a lot going on here that we as the viewing public are not privy to. It's almost as if we as the public, the wool has been pulled over our eyes. There are things that we're not seeing. There's a lot of dark energy from the moon to the stars to this darkness going on here. It's almost as if there's a veil being pulled over the rest of our eyes. We have one impression of this situation, but Chris Rock knows that we're being fooled here and there's a truth that we're not seeing. And that is what he hasn't healed from yet. Chris Rock is still traumatized by it all. And I think what is traumatizing Chris Rock about it all is not so much the slap or anything like that. Well, of course it is. And being humiliated and assaulted in front of the world. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. There is a shame, you know, with this Ten of Swords. Look, you know, he feels, this is really it. He feels, Chris Rock feels stabbed in the back. Stabbed in the back by Hollywood. Stabbed in the back by people who don't understand. That's how he feels. He's not even, his head is even turned away from us. That's how traumatized Chris Rock still is. And I feel that this video brought out by Will Smith has added to the trauma. So that's Chris Rock's energy. Now Will Smith. Now this is very interesting. We had a 9 of Cups before, and to go down from a 9 to a 4 of Pentacles is really interesting. 4 of Pentacles typically is a stingy energy. It's someone, look at this person with their heart chakra, with everything, money on the mind, holding everything in close to them. So what I was saying earlier, in fact, let's do a few more. I'm not going to take these because I need to shuffle. Okay, give us, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, give us a bit more about Will Smith's energy. Give us a bit more here. Give us a bit, that was a Page of Swords coming through there. The Page of Swords is actually a very childish energy as well. But anyway, give us a bit more about Will Smith's energy around this, especially as it pertains to Chris Rock. I keep on seeing that Devil card like it wants to come out. Haha, Magician again. Okay. This situation that Will Smith has gone in, is currently in. Again, we have the Magician card. 2 different decks, and we've gotten the Magician. Because remember, we were in this deck and the Magician energy. Where is it? We had the Magician energy. There we go. Right? We had the Magician energy again. When it comes to Will, we have it again. The Magician talks about being able to pull the wool over people's eyes. It's Magician, the ability to bamboozle or to create whatever reality that you want and to have the power to do so. Right? So this is the Magician energy compared to this Ten of Swords. In fact, when you look at it, both these guys don't come out too well at all. You have one here where the energies are a lot of healing, a lot of betrayal, a lot of hurt, spiritual hurt and damage. And you have someone else here who... Will Smith has a lot of powerful energy though. He has the Empress energy. the Emperor energy, the Magician energy. This is what I was saying when I was looking at Chris Rock's energy when it comes to Will Smith. He has that A-list power. He has that ability of whatever. People are more in the background. Remember I said Will Smith was doing a lot of work in the background? This is the work that he's been doing. He's gold. He's box office gold. He is Hollywood royalty. Like, that cannot be underestimated or denied. The power he wields. Now, in terms of whether whatever he did was genuine with this Four of Pentacles, this is saying to me no. This is not a giving energy at all. What we got with Will Smith earlier was a Six of Pentacles, whereas he wants to appear or give the impression of being fair. Whereas this is the energy he really feels. Like, it's almost as if it felt cathartic and it felt good for him to do what he did. But he's not really going to let anyone know that, number one. And number two, this is someone being stingy with their apology and with their feelings of regret. Just reading the cards, guys. Just reading the cards. I'm not commenting on whether it's right or whether it's wrong. I'm just getting the intuitive downloads from my spirit guides and the cards. This is someone, if you want power, influence, control over a person, a situation, this is the hand that you want to have. This is the hand you want to have. Will Smith is going to come out of this on top. That's what these cards are saying. He's going to come out on this on top. Now, there is something that with this Knight of Pentacles, interestingly enough, a lot of this energy is focused towards the audience. These people are looking head on towards their audience. Head on, giving their full undivided attention. This card popped through as well. This energy is moving towards the future. There is a project or there is some money to be made that Will Smith is involved in. He is going off. He has his eye on the prize, which is continuing to make money and generate influence. Like, there are a couple of, I'm seeing one huge project and another project that's coming through that he has up in the background. So that is why it's important that he uses his charisma, his starless status and power and influence to calm things over, because there is a lot of work that they have in the background that's happening. Like, in terms of money deals and so on to be made. Also, there is a promise to, it's almost as if, and please don't shoot the messenger, everything that I'm saying here, by the way, is alleged until proven fact. He is also, Will Smith, using his influence to buy people over. Now, this is buying people over. It may not necessarily be literally paying people out money, but giving people promises. Promises when it comes to the future, promises that, oh, I could connect you with this person that could lead to work for you. I could open these doors for you. There's, if you support me and back me. So there's a lot of work that, this is what I channeled at the very beginning when I said that he was doing a lot of work in the background to get people on side. That is what is also happening here as well. And there has been a lot of work happening over these past 3 months to get people on side. That is why Chris Rock views it as such a betrayal. That's why Chris Rock just feels betrayed by the whole thing. And he feels that people, this is the world, people don't really see and understand what's going on. But it's beyond his control. Like, Chris Rock doesn't have the power, he doesn't have the influence, he doesn't have anything to get in front of it. That is Chris Rock and the way he needs to appear compared to, this is court card energy, this is major arcana energy. Chris Rock doesn't stand a chance. And I'm not saying it to support either side, I'm just calling it as it is. Now, there is something about this Six of Cups, this Eight of Cups, and this Tower when it comes to Will Smith's energy. Now, okay, I was just channeling what this is. When Will Smith talked about, let's just put it this way. Will Smith has a lot of work to do. Will Smith has a decision to make. Let's put it that way, first of all. This decision is regarding himself and his healing, and it's regarding his marriage. Would he walk away from it? Do not shoot the messenger. This is alleged. Would Will Smith walk away from his marriage? Even if he wanted to. The reason why, you know, it's something Oprah said. Oprah once said, and this is something I truly spiritually believe as well. When there's a change that you're meant to make in your life, first of all, you will get a little flick trying to bring it to your attention. You ignore the flick starts becoming a knock. You ignore the knock, it begins becoming a push and a shove. You ignore that push and shove, and then there's a freight train bringing your attention to this aspect of yourself that you need to heal. Will Smith's actions even shocked him, and it was even a freight train for him that he did that. This is someone wanting to assert an element of themselves that they haven't been able to assert since childhood. And it just exploded in this Tower moment. What Will Smith needs to do, the question is whether he would do, is walk away from everything that he holds dear. Walk away from his family. Walk away from needing to have that image. Is he willing to walk away from it all to do that healing? What this Tower moment is saying is that this was to focus Will Smith's attention on a change in him or a healing in him that desperately needs to happen. Whether he has the courage to do that, or whether he wants to do it, or whether he has the wherewithal to do it, still remains to be seen. This Queen of Pentacles is Jada. Four of Swords, there is something when it comes to their marriage with the Nine of Wands and with the Queen of Pentacles. So you know when he said in his video quite poignantly that Jada did not make me do it, she did not influence me to do it, etc., etc. That's not all the way true. Now, a woman is not a scapegoat, okay? And that's not what I'm saying. There is some element of, with his head, I'm watching this person, being drawn to this person having walls up around them. There is something about Will and Jada's marriage that is divinely purposed and orchestrated. They are divinely drawn to each other, right? But what I'm picking up here in their energy is that there is a bit of a separation. Someone has checked out. Someone has their defenses up. And this looks to me like Will here with the Nine of Wands. Has their defenses up. Someone is very obsessed with their image and with themselves and with how they appear in a public forum. I think with this energy, when it comes to Will and Jada, I'm surprised that it's come up here. But both of them, they are very obsessed with appearing like this. They want the adulation from the public. They want to be all things to all men. This is the most important thing to them. To be viewed as the best is the most important thing for them. But what is happening at the moment is, with this person, it just doesn't seem to be possible. There is something with this person, with this Queen of Pentacles energy. This could be Jada's energy. But at the same time, I'm saying that there is something with Jada's energy that is causing Will to put up his defenses. It's causing him with his head bandaged not to think straight. It's causing him to retreat and separate himself. Because I was surprised he didn't do a red table situation. I was very surprised he did not do a red table. And it's interesting that his color palette that he chose was green and the red table is just red, right? Very interesting. But there is something with Will and Jada. It's just like Will is either he's had a break from her, or there's some separation going on between both of them at the moment. Like he can't take her, either he's had enough, or Will just wants to be on his own away from her for the moment to just gather their thoughts. But at the same time, they want to give the impression that all is good and hunky-dory between them. However, that is not anything that we don't already know. I don't think anyway. But there is something there's something with regards to their marriage. And it's as if there is something about this marriage between them that Jada knows, that Jada holds over his head. And Will has reached the point where he's tired of having something being held over his head. There is a separation between them at the moment. That's what I'm going to say. There is a separation. Like Will has his walls up against her. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's what I'm saying. 5 of Wands. There is a separation and there's infighting between Will and Jada. They put on a front as if everything is hunky-dory. So this is the thing. You know, this is the front. All the wands are upright. Nothing to see here. Celebrate me, celebrate me. But behind closed doors, those same wands are being used to fight and attack each other. And I'm being told that this is not just in terms of the impression they want to give, but with the children as well. I think that there is... I have done a Will and Jada reading, but I think I need to do another one. Let me just pull one final card on Chris Rock. Just one final card on Chris Rock. One final card on Chris Rock on what we need to know about his situation. Death. Interesting. Yeah, well, we know that he's in a relationship at the moment, so he's going to overcome this, but in his own way, and at his own time, and at his own pace. But with the Justice card below the deck, even though Will Smith may feel that he has won the upper hand for now, later on in the long run, Chris Rock is going to get his just desserts. Let's just say, it's a phrase that my spirit guides are telling me. God doesn't like ugly. My spirit guides are also telling me that we are living in an age where karma comes round. The karmic cycle is coming round quicker than it's ever been before. So even though at the moment, you know, this is Chris Rock, this is how he feels at the moment, being shut out by people because he's not as powerful. He doesn't have the influence that Will Smith has. Eventually things are going to come out in Chris Rock's favor. There is I'm being told it's a distant future situation, but there's something else that's going to come out about the Smiths. I'm being told it very faintly. It's like a distant situation. There's something that's going to come out about Will and Jada that's going to vindicate Chris Rock. There's some information that's going to come out. Okay guys, I am going to leave it there. I will try to put timestamps down below. Let me know what you thought about this reading and what your point of view is. Like and subscribe if you enjoy it, and I'll see you in future readings. Deuces.